Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for your participation in this conference. Let me introduce myself. I am Khamlichi Mohammed, responsible of health and safety at the OCP Group. We are delighted to share with you an OCP experience. It was initiated in the context of coronavirus pandemic, which is titled the Project Continuity Plan for Contractors. Now let's see the presentation summary. For the summary of our presentation, I will first address the context. After the PCP framework, secondly, role and responsibility for this PCP process. My colleague, Mr. Brahim, will present the approach process of PCP, which eventually some evidences. At the end of the presentation, my colleague, Mr. El Habib, will present the main achievements and feedbacks from this process. As contextual elements, as you know, during the confinement due to the coronavirus, some no-critical industrial projects were put on standby and support departments were on remote work to reduce contact between employees. A critical project and production have been divided in separate blocks, putting in place very strict barrier measures to avoid contact between employees. The ambition behind the PCP project was to facilitate the gradual restart of projects by ensuring compliance with health requirements. Now, let's move to a conception of our PCP process. The PCP framework was set up by defining the organization, and the mission of the committee members appointed by the top management of OCP. Then, a common PCP reference guide was established summarizing all the requirements of the Moroccan authorities, health protocols of OCP, and international guidelines of World Health Organization. To ensure compliance of the PCPs established for each project with the OCP reference guide, a reviewing and approval process has been defined by the committee's members. In the next slide, I show you the PCP committee missions. All stakeholders were involved in the PCP organization, like operations, industrial projects, and purchasing. The execution of phase of PCP and planning of the commissions were designed with follow-up of reviews and PCP approach process. The main role of PCP committee is to ensure harmonization and compliance of approved PCPs in accordance with the established reference PCP guide. For the next slide, I invite Mr. Brahim to share with you more details on the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to activate camera. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Mr. Brahim DRIOUCH, the Safety and Health Manager at OCP Group. I am pleased to share with you the PCP process details, as mentioned by my colleague, Mr. Mohammed. First, the process of approval is divided in 6 steps. First steps is at the level of operational teams. It starts by the project manager who prepare the PCP with the contractor. This PCP is specific to the project conditions, based eventually on the reference gate which is established at the starting. Then he submitted to the Health and Safety Department for review, eventually for adjustment, before the presentation to the PCP committee. And after the presentation to the committee and the end of the meeting, there are recommendations and remarks that has been sent to the project manager for taking in place our necessary actions regarding the PCP reference gate. After there will be a preparatory audit, which is done on site, putting in place all the recommendation and the action to be aligned with the health requirement. Then the committee send in approval after after the closure of all recommendations. The starting of the project is conditioned by the signature of the takeover agreement, which is signed with the procurement entities. On the second slide, I will give you an overview of our PCP reference gate, which summarize the set of health requirements, facilitating the tasks to the project manager and the contractor also, in order to quickly align with the health requirements. Once adapted to the context of this project, of his project, the contractor sign his PCP and the project manager review it at his level before starting. In order to highlight how the contractor intends to apply the requirement of our reference gate, we summarize 14 appendices with templates to be used. All these templates are already prepared. For example, the recovery schedule, the distribution of staff by zones, all these templates are based on the guideline and the health requirement. The cleaning, for example, the cleaning and disinfection schedule, the workplace and the restaurant arrangement plan regarding the COVID-19, the engagement to be signed also by the contractor and his subcontractors, etc. Here in this slide, we will give you a statistical since the launch of the resumption of projects. We have 214 projects that has been reviewed by the committee teams, and we have 180 projects that have been approved. For the projects that are under review, it's about 34 projects which are under review or in preparation phase. So now I will invite Mr. Mansour El Habib to share with you all major achievements that have been recorded in this process.
So hello everybody. About voice, there is no problem. So hello everybody. It is a big pleasure to share with you this best exercise for us. And before, because
Habib, for the
yes,
sound, please.
C'est bon?
It's clear, yeah. Clear, very clear, very clear.
I think because you know there is some pandemic context, and as you know there is a lot of impacts, and for us the conception of our company that you know under crisis, under COVID, the goal is to maintain production because we must ensure fertilizers for all the markets. So the goal is to ensure production and ensure some projects, big projects links with production. But as you know, there is a lot of stop of projects, big projects. And after this, I think taking the progress of the pandemic, we talk to return of projects, and for reception, you must ensure the return of project with progressive and with success. This is the goal. So in order to talk about success case, I think we can divide on 3 elements, because in OCP is a big, and we have three big entities. We have production operations, big project, industrial development, and you have building. And as you know, there is a lot of specification, and the first is the collaboration. So to elaborate PCP, there is a big work. All teams collaborate in order to ensure harmonization between all entities, in order to have one answer for contractors, in order to ensure one treatment, equal treatment for all contractors. The second, I think, the growth-oriented. So for growth-oriented, because the time factor is very important, and the situation, it changes day by day, and you must take this factor time because it's very important. And I think the 3 axis is resilient agility. If we talk about collaboration, I think for the case axis, there is harmonization, and it's very important for us and with contractors. And the contractors, they are easy to talk with us, with different entities, and it's very important to harmonize with contractors, because we can find, for example, one contractor is okay in one site, and the same is not, is refused in one site. In order to avoid this, the big work about harmonization is very important. Collaboration and involvement of all concerned departments, because there is project manager, there is purchasing, because as you know, there is some 6 months or 8 months stopped work, and there is a lot of approach between contractors, OCP, a lot of stakeholders. Each one has his argument, and it's very important to harmonize all this with procurement, because procurement entity is the last one to give the final go. Engage project manager, because it's very important, and for this we have two directions. So as you know, with the crisis, with pandemic, there is 2 visions. There is the go for budget, because very important, because there is a conception to progressive, and the budget is very important, and technical review, and to engage project manager is very important. And PCP process is ensure our company that we are okay with all the COVID rules. For oriented growth, I think we begin, the situation is dynamic, and we must improve. We learn by our contractor. It's very important to highlight this, because we have a lot of contractors, Moroccan contractors, international contractors, because we have big projects, and we have French, England, Germany, USA, Spain. So I think the first, we improve each other, and by reading and discussing, I think there is a lot of things to understand and to improve each other. Efficient change achieved by the PCP committee based. So I think the PCP is efficient, because we have the same rules, and is efficient to take this review.
Dr. Habib, you have 2 minutes, please.
Okay, okay. And I think lesson learned, because time by time there is a lot of lesson learned coming from our contractors, coming from our lecture of PCP, and we are open to improve our PCP. About resilience and agility, I think it's very important to highlight this procurement in order to avoid all claims or something, and we begin with the clear situation. It's very important to highlight that before work, there is a preparatory audit in order to ensure that all things in PCP it's inside, and it's very important. There is a lot of coaching session, because you must do a lot of session about our contractors. And finally, promoting flexibility and agility through work methods. So to finish, our unanimous target is to continue performing and exhibiting the best of our assets, people before and our installation in an agile way. Thank you very much.